a proof of witness. Power is the seal of authority. It is only by power that demonic entities can shift away from a territory. Even the very gates of territories don't open except as you come by power. Everything
today, some of the most heavily guarded places on earth are places where you have rulers of nations. Even if you are an armed robber, even if you are a terrorist, nobody will deceive you to be mad enough to attempt attacking a place where a president lives. As porous as Nigeria is today, that we are complaining about herdsmen attack, they know that they are not stupid enough to go attacking the presidential villa, because the whole might of the nation is directed there. You never find the dwelling of the head of state as a defenseless place. It carries the glory because that building models the authority, the honor, and the influence of the one who dwells in him. So when God made us his house, God was making a statement. If you want to see my majesty, if you want to see my wisdom, if you want to see the expertise of my architectural masterpiece, you cannot see me but see the container that bears me. Because that container becomes the expression of my might. That container becomes the expression of my beauty. That container becomes the expression of my majesty. I am revealed through that container. So when God made us his dwelling place, he glorified our lives. He beautified our life. So our dignity is God's dignity. Our majesty is God's majesty. Our excellence is God's excellence. Our glory is God's glory. Our defense is God's defense. He designed it for a purpose, and it's because he loved us. So he wanted to demonstrate his glory and his majesty, and he chose you and I. Remember, when this was happening, there was a debate in the spirit realm. The angels became confused. We have been with you for aeons. How come none of us have carried this level of honor? We remember once upon a time, one of us called Lucifer desired your glory, and he wanted to ascend to possess it, and he was cast from heaven. We never knew that you are willing to dwell in any entity and give him your glory. So there was a question in the spirit realm. In Psalm 8 verse 4, there was a debate. What is man that thou art mindful of him? What is the Son of Man that you visit him? You made him a little lower than yourself, the Elohim. You crowned him with glory and honor. What is it about man? This was the debate of the spirit realm, because all the spirits were shocked. Why do you love this being so much? You didn't give him earth alone. You decided to give him yourself, so that it becomes your dwelling place. What is it about him? All of us in heaven here, the best we have is your throne. And can I tell you how the throne of God works? The throne of God is not necessarily a seat, because God is spirit. A spirit does not need a seat. When you speak about the throne of God, it's actually a spiritual reality that can track God's dimensions. That's what the throne of God is. You know, those of you who are scientists, you will understand what I'm saying. It's like crystals called diamonds. You know the way diamond operates. When you hold diamond in the night, the lights that are traveling, diamond refracts light. So what diamond does is that it absorbs a measure of light and it bends it and refracts it to go in another direction. That's why you see diamond glittering at night. It cannot contain the whole light, but different rays of the light passes through from time to time. The diamond absorbs it and refracts it. So you see the light in different. That's how God operates in the heavens. This is why those who saw God, they said he was clothed with crystals, because God is light. So when God enters heaven, measures of those light, in chemistry we call it quantum. If it is in many, we call it quanta. When measures of those light enter into those crystals, it reflects into heaven. This is why the 24 elders, when they bow and carry their face up, they see another dimension. They bow, they carry their face up, they see another dimension. They bow. So forever and ever, they keep bowing. You know why? They could not see the fullness of God. The crystal could only track dimension, one dimension to another. And for billions of years, they were seeing different dimensions. So when they rise up, they see another dimension. They worship. They rise up, they see another dimension. But when God created man, this was what God did. All of the aggregated dimensions of God that they could not trap in heaven for billions of aeons, he put all inside man once. So man became the only container that could carry God. When Satan saw it, he couldn't take it. He was jealous and angry. What is man that you are mindful of him? And so they went into research in the demonic realm. How do we deal with this creature? This creature that God has decided to give his all to. How do we destroy this creature? And they couldn't find one. The only way they could destroy man was for man to destroy himself. Because the plan God has for man, eyes have not seen, ears have not heard, it has not occurred to the heart of any creature that a being can contain the fullness of God, manifest the fullness of God. And as if that's not enough, the whole authority of God, he gave it to man. He said, let them have dominion and rule over the visible realm. That means the man on earth was like a God walking on earth. This is why when Satan collected man's authority, his status and designation changed. In 2 Corinthians 4:3, he was called the God of this world. Because the authority he's working with is the Adamic authority. The authority God gave man. So man was actually the God of this world. Because he was representing God in this world. So he was not just the carrier of God's glory, he was the custodian of God's authority. When Satan saw it, Satan couldn't sleep. How can a mortal rule over spirits? How can a mortal dominate over an entire Jerusalem? Satan showed up and began to dialogue with the man. No, you will not die. The day you eat it, you become like God. If you know how to become like God, why don't you eat it and become like God? And the man naively obeyed Satan, disobeyed God, ate of that fruit. And when God showed up, he was already falling. God could no longer find him on his throne. And so he said, Adam, where art thou? I'm looking for you. You are a prince in my galaxy. How come your throne is empty? I can't find you. Remember, God is omniscient. He knows all things. So when God is saying, Adam, where are you? It's not because he doesn't know where he was. An omniscient being does not need to ask questions to know. When he was saying, Adam, where are you? He was asking because his throne was vacant. The guy was a dominion. He was a prince in the realm of God. But his throne had become empty. And God is wondering, why is the Senate gathered in heaven and your throne is empty? Guess who was occupying that throne? Satan. The Bible said the sons of God came to appear before God, and Satan also showed up. Satan that was cast away, because of Adam, he can now come and appear in the heaven. So God was looking for Adam. Where art thou? The man had fallen. In an attempt to become like what he already is, he rebelled against God and fell. And from that day, he became a servant of Satan. The same authority that he should wield over Satan, Satan now began to wield over him. Because whoever you yield yourself servant to obey, the servant of him you are whom you have obeyed. And guess what? Satan made a mess of him. Satan punished man with sickness. Satan punished man with suffering. Satan punished man with all forms of oppression. Because there is no good in him. All he had to offer was wickedness. And the man became a slave. Again, because of the love that God had for man, he couldn't watch man destroyed. Because right now, what gave Satan authority is a law in the spirit. The wages of sin is death. And so because the man chose to sin, death was his portion. Satan was his master. So when Satan was tormenting him, God is a just God. Although he is sovereign, he will not break his own law. So God could not just come and say, give me that power, man, take it back. No, God won't do like that. That will be tyranny. That will no longer be sovereignty. So what did God do? In demonstrating his love for man, you have entered the realm of death through rebellion. The only thing you can do to come out of it is to pay the price. And the price is death. Because the soul that sinneth shall die. Because the wages of sin is death. But here is the twist. If the man dies, how can he now enter into liberty? He didn't have those capacities. So what did God do? He didn't just demonstrate his love by making man his dwelling place. He didn't just demonstrate his love by giving man his authority. What did God do? Now that man has fallen, God wants to restore the man. So God stepped down from his throne. God came out of heaven. God took off the garment of divinity. God entered the womb of a woman as a child. God remained in that womb for 9 months, depending on when the woman eats to eat. God stayed there until the time that God was to be born. And when God was born with animals, because the man no longer had honor or stature in the realm of the spirit. So God endured the shame, the pain, just to demonstrate his love for man. And after God was born in a manger, God was hungry, God was cold, God suffered. They even threatened to kill God. And because God reduced himself to be a man and to be like a man, they had to escape with God so that they don't kill God. God decided to make himself vulnerable so that he can pay the price for man. Until the time came, God allowed himself to be flogged naked. God allowed himself to be crucified. God allowed himself to be killed. So his
power is a proof of witness. Power is the seal of authority. It is only by power that demonic entities can shift away from a territory. Even the very gates of territories don't open except as you come by power. Everything